practice a little landscape scene. Is pretty simple. If you have a fear of the, of the white paper, so the best thing you can do is just start with a little dot, because dots are easy to place. And so for this house, I place first dot for the roof, like this triangle, and then I just go down, make it a little bit bigger for you, down. I can draw this wall of the house, just straight line, maybe a little bit too long, well, but it's okay. This will be just my first try. So, and the idea is make sure that your lines are parallel as much as you can. This is just to practice line work. So you see, I make for the roof little overhead, and then I simply connect the dot. And then I'll do also this side, and I'll make the roof, another line, and then what I do is that I just add some texture to the roof, placing my lines, and I do it parallel to this one. So just like diagonal line like this. And so in the end, I just finish my roof like that. And so that gives me the angle that is more or less correct for the freehand. So then I add the base of the house, just a little bit down, and then one more line. Quite some line work. So for the windows, these two windows, again, so I just place two of these windows, try to make them kind of like symmetrical, very quick lines, and then more. So just depends how long is the building. I just try to place them equally. I'll make 4. Could be 5, but I'll make 4. And now for the windows, I add black, let's say squares. So, and we just work with the contrast. So, like so. And magically it looks like a window. You don't need much to practice. That's kind of precision, but that's also, I would say, abstract thinking, because we are not doing, this is just a few lines, but then it looks like a window, like that. So if you have any questions, you can write, but I see that the chat is going really quickly. So if I happen to notice, then I will answer. And then some more. And then just try to place them like just continue. So this idea is that when you draw, so you just look, everything is just abstract, everything is just a bit of a line or a dot. And that's, by the way, quite a typical Finnish house. I have seen many of those here. And now I'll show you what was the next step. Actually, I was supposed to do many of those, but I'll make one. I'll make one, I think. Now we just add the shadow under the roof. To end depths, just like make it a little bit thicker, and some more lines for the shadow. Maybe also this line as well. And here we make some shadow here under the roof where we have no light. some more shadow with just some small strokes. Just some small strokes. Like so. Go a little bit up here. And finally, so for this base that I have, just go all over the place quickly. So don't overthink it, just place those little scratches and it becomes kind of like stone. The quicker the better. And then I will place, I forgot the rule. I forgot, by the way, this pipe. Oh, well, I'll add it here. And as again, you know, this is not in perspective, and the point is not to practice perspective. The point is actually practice lines that are parallel and spot the mistakes and make more like precise drawings. Maybe drop a little bit of shadow here, like that. Yeah, and then I'll add some vegetation. So again, for depths, I can make some overlaps. Just at the ground here, so as if it's like behind the building, it frames the buildings, let's say, and give some depths, and then maybe there is a tree behind it, polite line, and I'm a bit out of space, but I'll make a tree here. It's nice that it's not even so big. And another tree that is behind the building. And there is also some maybe shrubs. Now we have also the foreground, which is just some, again, horizontal lines. A few lines here, a few lines there, just to ground the whole thing. And now I can add the texture, just a bit more texture, for contrast to the shrubs. Repeat that outline a little bit. And I can add a bit more so that there is a contrast between this white wall and between this foliage here. So, and then again, I'll add some more here. And I'll add some more here. That side and a little bit. Maybe a little bit shadow. Just a bit of contrast. And maybe here to pop the tree a bit. So when I think like where to add, you know, this dark or white, so it's all the contrast. You have some white, add some dark. The same here, so leave some white, add some dark, and the contrast will create the shape. Kind of got used to it little by little. And yeah, so just to let's say, so that I can you know, add also here something, I go with, again, with this horizontal line for the sky, just a few, so that it's not just white space. And again, just a few lines, but it complements the drawing. So that whenever you look at a little illustration, just think that there is always some foreground, middle ground, and background. Then it looks more interesting. Yep. And hello. And I think I have time for another little sketch and also place on my page. I just move it a bit up, and I have also another sketch. And I thought I'll do this one because it's kind of similar technique, but it has a bit of perspective, like this one. So we start with a tree and the ground line, and then we add a person, just like to add scale, and then we add another horizon line over here, for example, and the vanishing point, and then we can create a road that goes, you know, somewhere far away, and using again very simple techniques to just grasp the idea how we add depth, you know, and interest. And then finally I edit again a bit more line, and you see the same thing, that there is a foreground, there is a middle ground, and then there is background. And there is also something that is, you know, goes like this, horizontal, vertical, and then there is horizontal, and that's my composition. So, and then you contrast a few things like that, and that's how it becomes an illustration, or like a bit of a story. So again, I'll put it here, and I'll just hope you see. I'll just copy it like step by step. So I think maybe a bit down. So if you are ready for another one, so start with just with the ground line and the tree, and you can place 2 dots. So for example, you decide, well, this is the trunk, you know, and maybe pretty much the same distance, and that will be the crown. And then you quickly make this little outline and the trunk. It's an easy way to plan your tree right away, and then we just add more outline like this. The horizontal lines, diagonal, just to create a bit of volume and a bit of shadow, a bit more outline, some texture and some shadow. And then from here I decided that my person is just, you know, like under the tree. And so for person you can go like, again, upper body half, and another half is the legs, simple shape like that one, and 2 lines, very small person. And a little head, sort of some arm, and then here's like a dog, and then the drop little shadow, and that's it. I could make actually a backpack, but well, ideas always come. So now I move it a little bit up. So now I will add the horizon line. This one here, the horizon line. So find a place somewhere around here. Can be good, and then just add it lightly, so that we look at it. And as you see, so here we are looking, that's called like a bird's view. So his head is not on a horizon line because he's not a viewer. We are looking at it. He is just like this tree. Doesn't have to be always on a horizon line. He's just like walking from here, and we are looking at him like this. And I add my vanishing point, as you see. So this, like, if you notice, it becomes like a bit of a square. I just go like this, and okay, this will be my vanishing point. Many people ask how you find the vanishing point. Well, you just place it and you hope for the best. I mean, you get a habit of thinking that, well, that can be good perspective. Because when you put a vanishing point, essentially you think, well, that will be my perspective. I want the lines go there. This is why I want my road to go like this. And wait a second. So if I actually, it's a bit too close to the tree, but let's try. So I could be, you know, placing him a bit further, maybe here would be better, but we'll see what perspective it gives us. So, and then I go down, and that's kind of like a road, but I will soften it later. And from this top of the crown, I just make like this broken line for all the other trees that grow along this road. We kind of think that they are quite similar. And then I just eyeball in. I don't think of what is the distance between them. I could, you know, make all these diagonal lines and central lines, but here I keep it simple. I just know that, well, I can place another one around here, and then the distance gradually becomes closer and closer, kind of like that. But in the end, you don't really see. you only see like a little bit those. And I add a couple of trees that are still, you see the shape, but then it becomes just like one mass, and you don't see them anymore so much. And you can add some volume. There's a few diagonal lines, and the shadow sort of this like under the crown, let's say. And again, you can add some shadows here, like again, pretty abstract. This is maybe a little bit too small. Sorry, made it quite small. On the other hand, the smaller, the more you can repeat because it's faster. And so that's already give us some perspective. And I'll move to the final touches. The final touch is again add some more detail in the front, the foreground, so that we add just a couple of lines on the ground and shadow from our person, and then soften up this roadside. Just again lightly, just a few strokes, less is more. And maybe the grass, again, if you make the grass sort of bend on the wind, you get a bit of movement, and so if you add a bit more here and less there, it gives you depth because you have more details in the foreground. And I drop a shadow from the trees, kind of, because we have it on the guy, so we got on the trees as well. And that's also, again, instantly give us some depth. And by the way, notice that the shadow also follows this perspective. I can kind of like think about that line. There is one more perspective, and maybe like shadow on the side. And like that. Few shadows is enough to give the idea. So maybe some grass, and then like I said, so that was vanishing point. We add again a line for the background in the distance, and it has even less detail. Maybe there is a forest somewhere, so it's just like a small, what do you call it, like a broken line and nearest line in the distance over there. Maybe just a couple of maybe trees, but not necessarily. Maybe here a bit more. So as soon as you see that you don't need to add more, don't add more. That's my advice. Comes with a feeling. So, and finally, just to add a bit more contrast, I will add and more interest. And we have also the sort of the sky, and for the sky, it's the clouds. Like, you know, there is a bit more space here, so I place the bigger cloud, and there is a bit, you know, already like quite a lot going on because we have trees, and I add less clouds, so it's just clouds here are not just clouds, they are to balance the whole thing. And a bit more drama, plus a bit more of this horizontal line, because we have quite a lot of verticals, and this is again just to balance the whole thing. Yeah, and my message is that when you draw, so every line, everything that you do is kind of have a purpose in it, and this why yeah, this is why some illustrations work, because everything that is there somehow has a purpose. And that's it. And maybe I can add, you know, more line weight. But I guess I will leave it like that. And let's see. We have two illustrations, pretty much similar line work. And I'll see you next time.